do this. 4 on each side. Totally neat. 6, 7, 8. Good job. How's everybody feeling? Good. Thank you. Alrighty. Now we're going to do some hip opening for your groin. Kind of bend one leg, keep one leg locked down on the right side, bounce a little bit, about 5 seconds. Switch sides. 2, 3, 4. Bend that leg. Alright, next is a hip press. Kind of stand like you did on the lively ground. Just keep your back leg locked down, press your hip forward. Open your hip up. Up high. Go to the other side. Alright, now we're going to do some arm rotations. So I'm going to put the microphone down, but see what I do. Get your shoulders nice and loose. Last but not least, everyone's favorite, we're going to do 10 jumping jacks. So be careful not to sprain your ankle on a pine cone or something. Okay? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alrighty. Everyone should feel good. Yes? Woo! Alrighty. Next, I'm going to pass it back to Dr. Proctor now that you're all nice and limber.
Thank you. You're welcome. Everybody good and stretched?
Yes.
First of all, give yourself a hand for showing up today. I'm Mike Greenwell. I'm the current chair of the board of the Interstitial Cystitis Association. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this walk. Dr. Proctor and I talked about this ahead of time. It's the first walk we've done in person in the U.S. So another hand for the first in person.
Woo!
So this is our second one in Cartersville. We can't tell you how much we appreciate you coming out today. I'm so appreciative. I'm even appreciative of the Alabama fans. Are there any here today? Oh yeah. Alabama fans?
Yeah.
Like you.
Oh.
The stretcher too. So 2020 is quite a year, and it's just so wonderful to see an event like this where we have some semblance of normalcy. It's been a difficult year for nonprofits, which we are at the Interstitial Cystitis Association, but we're surviving, and the walks help us to continue to thrive. We're the only nonprofit organization in the United States serving those living with interstitial cystitis, and we're an important source of information, and more importantly, we feel like we're a very important source of hope for those living with this very difficult disease. We touch the lives of hundreds, sometimes thousands of people a day through what we do at the Interstitial Cystitis Association, and it's walks like these that help us bring awareness and money to this issue, so we're very appreciative of all of you who showed up today. I want to take a moment to thank our sponsors.
In front of us, they can't hear.
So a hand for Dr. Proctor. Also, Desert Harvest is a regular supporter of the Interstitial Cystitis Association. They're one of our most important sponsors. They're there for us every day. We thank them. We want to thank Free Leaf also. They're a supporter today. NeoTrack. I think Michael had to go, but he was here. We appreciate them. Georgia Urology. Thank you very much.
Woo!
Sonics.
Woo!
Innovation Compounding. And then also Irma Rodriguez and Fred Fernandez. Irma is a board member. She lives in Atlanta also. And she wasn't able to attend today, but they're a huge sponsor of the walk today. So very much appreciate them. So I'm going to take a minute to introduce Dr. staunch supporter of what we do, and we know how important he is to his patients. He's an undergraduate from the University of California at Irvine, got his master's degree in molecular biology and biochemistry, and he graduated from New York Medical College. He's board certified from the American Board of Urology, and he serves on the medical advisory board for ICA, so he's there for us every day. He's been involved in national research protocols for IC, and he's a principal investigator for a national multi-center study. And these studies are so important as we move closer to better treatments and diagnosis for interstitial cystitis. He's a member of the American Urological Association, and he has a special interest in IC and has graciously he sponsored last year's walk and is an important sponsor this year. And thank you enough, Dr. Proctor, for your support.
Thank you.
So with that, I'll introduce Dr. Proctor.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you again for everybody attending. So I just want to say hello again to this Walk for an IC Cure on this beautiful day. And again, as Mike said, this is the first live walk for this year. All of them have been virtual before this. So thank you for attending. I want to thank several folks just to echo, but first of all, the ICA, the Interstitial Cystitis Association, and its board members. ICA does a lot, which we'll talk about for IC patients and awareness. I'll just quickly reiterate the sponsors. I know Mike just went through them, but Desert Harvest, Pre-Leaf, Georgia Urology, myself. Dan Fillner, our CEO, is here someplace. You can raise your hand. He's over there. NeoTrack, Michael had to leave. Irma Rodriguez and Fred Fernandez, I think they're virtual, but thank you. They're made last year, but they couldn't make this year. Innovation Compounding and Axonics with Jacqueline. Jacqueline's around someplace. Oh, there she is. So thank you very much. Again, I want to thank all of you for attending and all the IC patients. So I want to say the first words about a team and what it means to be part of a team. Those who know me, I'm a big believer in team, and that's what my philosophy is in the office. You're only as good as the rest of your team. So I have a great team. Georgia Urology gives me the tools, and Dan Filner is here to support this cause. But Georgia Urology gives us the tools to do what we need to do. In the office specific, well, let me back up. Laura Kandelakis and her team, Allie included, is here someplace. There she is. We couldn't do it without you guys, and she's done so much for me and for this walk. It's been unbelievable. And for my office, together we're a team for an IC Center of Excellence at the Cartersville office. So first and foremost is Brandy Knight, my nurse practitioner. There she is in the back. She does a great job. She probably knows more about IC than 99% of doctors in America. I call her my mini-me, affectionately, so, but no, she's great. And then we'll just go through my staff, the Center of Excellence, but if you walk into the front door, the first part of the team you'll see is Susan Patrick and Vicki Hilly. They're around, raise your hands. And it's important, everybody on my team needs to know about interstitial cystitis. They can, if you're having a flare, they know how to get you in for that same day or the next day to do the rescue treatments, the intravesical installations that can help people out with flares. Then my back office, my medical assistants will come and get you. They'll help educate you, do the treatments. But Tina Cagle has been with me 20 years next month. Maria Maldonado, and our newest member is Sheila Smith. And then those who, the ones that need surgery, Shelly, Cherry, and Michelle's here. They're my surgery schedulers. And this Tina Smith, Tina Sims, my urodynamics nurse, and many, many more. There's a lot of people from Georgia Urology here today that helps support this cause. So why do I mention my team? One, they're great, they're fabulous, and I couldn't do it without my team. But two, as I see patients, I want you to realize that there's a team here for you. So you can't do it by alone, and you're not an individual, you're not an island with interstitial cystitis. I hear so many times when I diagnose somebody with interstitial cystitis that they didn't know they have the disease, haven't heard anything about it, and they assume that they're the only one that has it. So we'll hear from a couple IC patients. they'll talk more. The Interstitial Cystitis Association is a tremendous resource for IC patients. Really utilize it. I wrote this, they wanted me to write something for promotion they were doing last year, but what I wrote is still so true today, so don't mind, I'm going to read what I wrote. The ICA Champions for Patients, their website provides information, resources, and support. They advocate on Capitol Hill to raise funding for IC education and awareness at the CDC and groundbreaking research. The ICA is a beacon of hope that promotes camaraderie and community awareness through the ICA walks and dedicate time and resources to combat all aspects of the disease. So, again, your team, first and foremost, if you have flare symptoms or more education, that's my team, and we're all out to help you. 2, the Interstitial Cystitis Association. 3, there's a local IC support group, and I don't think Judy Eisner can make it today, but we have that. We meet quarterly before the COVID, but we're going to start up soon, hopefully. Next is also physical therapists. There's several local physical therapists, and they can help you with pain and teach you exercise to do at home, and some do trigger point manipulations. And Floyd Home Care and Haley came, helped us with some water, so thank Haley. Also, it's important this walk that you meet each other. You're not alone, and learn from other IC patients techniques that they do for their flares, for their diets, and things that help them out. So we're a team together. I want to mention the sponsors, not so much for plugs, but to know that they're also a team. They're all here. There's reasons why they help sponsor. But Desert Harvest has aloe vera, and that helps a lot of patients with interstitial cystitis. Pre-leaf we use tremendously. Brandy and I use a lot of it for when you have flares, the burning, the urgency. Innovation Compounding has compounded Elmeron, or PPS, pentasand polysulfate, for those that cannot afford the full price if their insurance isn't covering Elmeron, and other compounded things. Axonics has neuromodulations for people with refractory overactive bladder. Neotract, Michael had to leave, but men with interstitial cystitis, a lot of them also have symptoms of BPH, and the Urolift symptoms help with that. So, and Kellen from 180 helps us tremendously for catheter supplies. George Urology also has catheter supplies, but depending on insurance, Kellen does a great job. So that could sound like plugs, but my point is, this is a team to help everybody out. You can't do it by yourself, but please utilize the team and get to know each other. So please make friends, go out and we'll make friends and talk, and I'll try and stop and along the way and walk with people and get to talk to everybody. Next, it's my honor to introduce Jay Moss. Jay is a resident of Lake Oconee. He's been an ICA board on the board of directors since 2018. He's responsible to help fundraising and raise awareness for interstitial cystitis. Jay, as we'll hear, is also an IC patient who's suffered through the numerous misdiagnoses and knows the trials and tribulations of being an IC patient. Jay received a BBA in real estate from UGA. I think there's a little game today, is there not? Maybe 2 versus 3? We'll see. He's worked in real estate for 20 or more years and been involved in all sorts of various areas of real estate. Jay's married and has 2 children. So Jay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Proctor. I just want to say, on a personal level, thanks to Dr. Proctor for sponsoring this walk. It's super important to have these walks, to get out and advocate and bring awareness for our disease. Like I said, I'm a patient. I've been suffering with IC for about 12, 13 years. It took me 2 years to get a proper diagnosis. Those were 2 of the roughest years of my life, and I want to thank my wife who's out there who hung in there with me. Nobody even knew what it was when I was diagnosed. It took me three doctors to get a proper diagnosis. So the ICA, like everybody's kind of talked about, the ICA is the biggest advocate that I'm aware of in the United States right now for our disease. And we're the only nonprofit that advocates for our disease. And it's super important for folks to be made aware of what we have and what we suffer with. And I can commiserate with everybody out there who's fighting this disease, but we're there to help, and the ICA is a great tool, so please look us up, use us, we're on the web. And now I'm going to take time to introduce one of Dr. Proctor's patients, Ms. Cindy Evans. Cindy's a retired Mary Kay sales director from Ackworth. She's married to Dan, mom to one daughter, 2 daughters in love, and Gigi to one beautiful granddaughter. She serves as the Lutheran Church Charities K through 9, comfort dog handler, and a congregational care minister to United Methodist Church. And I'm going to turn over the mic to her now.
Good morning, and thank you. Well, I had to write it down because I really didn't want to miss anything, but it's an honor to be here with you this morning and to speak with you and just get to know other people who are going through what I'm going through, because I said earlier to some folks, when I was sharing my story to practice with friends, I said, I just thought you had to go to the bathroom a lot. They didn't realize the things that we go through. So officially, I was diagnosed by Dr. Proctor in 2014, but I didn't know that I was suffering with interstitial cystitis and had incorrect diagnosis for many years. Medications were prescribed, but I didn't ever get any relief, the discomfort, the frequent bathroom visits. It was a trial and tribulation. Yet when Dr. Proctor shared his diagnosis, I was really in denial. All I heard was diet modification would require me to give up many of the food and beverages that I enjoyed. Then there was the struggle to afford the medicines, and I needed to modify my stress. The diagnosis absolutely stressed me out. But I had to admit to myself that the urgency to go to the restroom was running and ruining my life. I was constantly in thought when out and about where the restrooms were. I worried about road trips, boating on the lake with friends, taking excursions while on a cruise, and walking in a park. Anywhere restrooms might not be available, or God forbid, the line was long. I definitely wasn't enjoying my life. I was living it moment to moment, thinking about where the restroom was. To make matters worse, if I did use the restroom, within 10 minutes I probably had to go again. I had frequent backaches, stomach and abdominal swelling, and pain that was horrible, and I dealt with constant constipation. After starting medication, modifying my diet, and lots of trial and error, things began to improve. But I also learned other things threw me into a flare. New medications, supplements, and not all bottled water would do. Seeking water without potassium is truly a challenge. And when I travel, I've learned in Georgia, we drink Deer Park. In Chicago, it's Ice Mountain. And in Seattle, it's Arrowhead. I've just discovered that we'll be traveling to San Juan to take a cruise, hopefully sometime later this year. And there are no options. They don't have potassium-free water in San Juan. So we'll be checking in our case of water. Hope it makes it. And I can't imagine what I do for 7 days without drinking the correct icy water. I don't think my trip would be very enjoyable. Other things that send me into a flare: change of season, surgery, travel, lack of sleep, and the holidays. But I've learned to recognize warning signs and get in for a rescue treatment quickly. But IC doesn't stop with us. It certainly has an impact upon our family and our friends as they try to understand what we're going through. My husband has been known on several occasions to carry 10-liter bottles of water on board a cruise in a carry-on bag because it has to go through security. And that's true love. That's a lot to tote. And when I say, honey, I need to go to the bathroom, that means now. Friends have learned to understand when we eat out, Mexican and Italian really don't work well for me. Why I've been known to order hot water instead of coffee, or 1 glass of wine is my max at all. On the annual girls trip, if you're my roommate, I hope you won't mind me waking you up in the middle of the night. But I've learned to be accountable to myself. I exercise 3 and 4 times a week. I track daily the amount of water I drink, the food I eat, and the supplements I take. This has given me a better understanding of what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong. but I've also learned that what worked last month may not work this month. Who knew there was an app to track your peeing and your pooping? There's an app for IC-friendly food, and I use the Fitbit and my FitnessPal. But this is what works for me, and I know it's not what works for all, but I encourage you to find a way to track your success and possibly discover what's not working for you. Living with IC isn't easy. Every day it's different. I still go to the restroom 8 to 9 times a day, but that's a far cry from where it was. I have had several setbacks, but I've also learned that when I have a good day, I live those good days to the fullest. When there's a flare, I seek treatment, and I rest, because living with IC is a journey. Most people really don't know much about IC. It's not a diagnosis we talk much about, yet it affects so many. It's people like us and a day like today that's going to change that. So thank you for raising awareness and seeking answers for the cure, one step at a time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cindy. So I was negligent. I forgot to mention one other big support, and that's the Cartersville community. And I appreciate all that they do. And Greg Patton is here, and other people that help support this cause. So now we're going to go on the walk. Those of you that want to join us. But in your information, there's a bathroom right there, and about halfway around, we're going to do a big circle. About halfway around, there's a restroom over there if we need to. So we'll do the walk, and then after the walk, we'll be around to talk, my staff and I. Have more waters and different things, but and the board members, I think, will be here for afterwards to talk, and Cindy will be here hopefully to talk. So you have a team here that's going to help. I'm going to try and mingle with everybody during the walk. The team is here to help you guys out both during and after the walk. So let's do the walk and we'll go from there. We'll line up and start at the balloons. I guess Cindy and I are going to lead the way. So.
Let's do one picture. All right, 1, 2, 3. You want to do that again? Get him. Okay. Okay, ready?
No.
Gotta be perfect for the pictures, I guess. Perfect.
All right, let's get a quick picture.
Hold it. Okay.
Okay, everyone enjoy your walk.